Ladies and gents, welcome back. Don't let a crisis go to waste, they say. This is an expression used for authorities when they want to usher in new policies and sprinkle them on the public as they're afraid of something that's happening in the here and now while they're already preparing for the next crisis. But this time, our local dictators are looking to relinquish their power to a higher authority. What am I on about? So, Stop the Treaty is trending right now. Now, what's the treaty? Multiple governments committing to signing WHO Pandemic Treaty, the World Health Organization, because we know they did such a bang-up job in the last one. They were able to single-handedly stop the Wuhan virus from... No, they didn't do that. They were instrumental in making sure that we were prepared for what... again, they didn't... What are they good for? Who is supporting this WHO pandemic treaty? On March 30th, the World Health Organization published the following list of 25 world leaders who have committed to working together towards a new international treaty for pandemic preparedness and response. And there's a lot of familiar names in this one. If you read this one out, it reads just like one of the back catalog pages of the World Economic Forum website, possibly. And of course, Canada, the US, Australia, and New Zealand can be added to this list. On November 29th, 2021, the Canadian press confirmed that Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos says Canada supports the development of a new global convention on pandemic preparedness and response that will be debated at a special meeting in the World Health Assembly today. Here's a petition to stop this. Now, what is the Global Pandemic Treaty and why is it so worrisome? As previously reported by the Counter Signal, the World Health Organization began drafting its treaty in December 2021 during a special session entitled The World Together. The treaty is to be upheld by the WHO's constitution, which under Article 19 provides that the World Health Assembly, with the authority to adopt conventions or agreements on any matter within the World Health Organization's competence. This authority was initially designed to pertain only to the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, but is being expanded to include dictating member states' future pandemic responses. When there's a health crisis or a pandemic like we've just been through, the World Health Organization will be able to dictate terms. Author Nick Corbishley said during an interview with the Epoch Times, they will be able to tell countries more or less how to respond. Wow, that sounds great, doesn't it? Because they did such a bang up job having very little power. Let's give them ultimate power. As pointed out by MP Leslyn Lewis, which I'm a fan of, by the way, the treaty would also allow the WHO to determine what a pandemic is and when it's occurring, even over something non-viral like an obesity crisis. You get a little spare tire? Hey, maybe we need to do something about that on a grand world scale. Geez. This would effectively give the organization the authority to take control of member states' healthcare systems whenever they feel necessary. Of even more concern, if this treaty is enshrined, the WHO would be in full control over what gets called a pandemic, Lewis wrote in a statement. They could dictate how our doctors can respond, which drugs can be used, or which vaccines are approved. We would end up with a one-size-fits-all approach to the entire world, a one-size-fits-all response to a health crisis that doesn't even work across Canada, let alone the entire globe. Amazing. Now, who might possibly be contributors to this organization, the WHO. Who is the WHO? Who made who? Would be the question. Well, here's the majority of large contributors to the WHO. Germany, who for some reason Germany is giving them 14.9% of their budget. But hey, look at this. Number 2 shareholder is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I wonder if they have any sort of vested interest in what people do with their health. I don't know. Maybe I should look somewhere in the news possibly about anything that they have to do with maybe health or anything like that. But yeah, other major contributions come from the U.S., European Commission, Gavi, UK. Interesting budget analysis there. But of course, we have Miss Christine Anderson, which we all became fans of when she railed against Mr. Trudeau in the European Parliament for even showing his face there after what happened with the Canadian truckers protest in Canada. Had a few words to say about the subject.
Colleagues, you might not be aware, but the abolition of democracy by the global elites continues. On March 3rd, the EU Commission was authorized by the Council to renegotiate the treaty with the World Health Organization on behalf of the member states. Under the guise of improving global pandemic response, the plan is to allow the WHO to seize executive governance powers of the member states in a case of a pandemic. Granting governance powers to non-elected body is the exact opposite of democratic recourse and takes away any possibility for the people to hold officials accountable. This amounts to no less than disenfranchising the people. We, as elected representatives by the people, for the people, must not allow this to happen. I am imploring you, do what you were elected to do. Look into this and protect the rights of the people you were elected by to act in their best interest. And to all the people in Europe, I would like to say, start acting now. Write to your MEPs. Let them know you will not tolerate to be stripped of your rights to democratic recourse. Let them know that any MEP supporting this or voting for this will not ever get your vote again.
We keep hearing about democracy as if something that these people really care about, but they're handing over our votes to agencies that have no interest in what's going on or what it is that we have to say.
So while that self-styled freedom fighter Boris Johnson, who once said that he would claw back sovereignty for the people to stop unelected bureaucrats from Brussels telling us what to do, he's literally handed on a silver platter freedoms and parliamentary sovereignty to unelected technocrats based in Geneva. The WHO, they will be superseding 194 countries in terms of response to future pandemics, effectively putting public health policy, individual medical autonomy, and also democracy on the line. Now, this has to be stopped. We should have the right as individuals, and certainly through ways and means of democracy, to choose how our country responds to emergencies and pandemics or any crisis of healthcare. We don't know the details of the treaty as yet, but it's something of huge concern. This potentially could be one of the biggest asset grabs of democracy and freedom in the modern era. At the very least, the public have to have a say, potentially through a referendum. So where possible, let's make people aware about this, because many of our media aren't. And let's make sure that we have a say. Wherever possible, on social media, use the hashtag #StopTheTreaty and make sure we build awareness so we try and stop the potential for an enormous freedom and democracy grab from technocrats who are unelected.
And that, of course, was James Melville on Twitter. Amazing power grab that they're going for right now. And of course, You won't be hearing about this on the news. Have you heard anything as of yet? Unless you've heard it through other channels. But yes, here I'll leave a link in the description for you to go sign the petition if you choose to do so to stop this treaty from taking place. We'll see how much awareness we can get out there about this particular situation. But with all of our politicians postulating about democracy and how important it is for them to go and make a move like this, which is completely anti-democratic. The idea of democracy is people's voices being heard and having a say in how their lives go and what happens in their own communities. But they're planning to hand this over to a global cabal in order to hold, well, in the case of an emergency. And as we know, 100 years between pandemics, if they're given this authority, just wait. It won't be a year before the next one happens. Anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. We'll talk to you in the next video. Leave a comment down below. If you're not following the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep on trucking.